What's going on, guys? If you're looking for a way to sell more cards on eBay, or I guess I should say how I personally sell cards on eBay and have some success with it, this video is going to be for you. If you're new here, my name is Matthew. I own Shiny Mana Collectibles, a small collectibles business where I sell on eBay, TCG player, a vendor's mall booth, and card shows. And I sell a lot on eBay. It's my main way of selling right now, and it has been for some time now. So I think I can probably speak on some tips to increase your sales if you're selling really anything, but these tips will apply specifically to the trading card business. So that's Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering. If you sell more niche games like Riftbound, and not Earthbound, Riftbound, and Gundam, or Star Wars Unlimited, if you decide you wanted to sell that for some reason. But I sell a lot of Pokemon, a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh. Mainly things that I sell because I do like those things. So that's what I do. I got some tips right here that I wrote down to go over with you guys. So without further ado, let's get into the tips. This is specifically for collectibles, but you could probably apply these to pretty much any category, but specifically for trading cards. So if you're looking to sell cards, stick with me. First, let's get it right off the bat. Very, very important tip. None of the rest of this stuff matters without this tip. You have to price your cards competitively. I know that you've heard this before, and it's probably not going to be the last time you hear it. You have to price competitively, but could be a controversial take here. Competitively does not mean lowest price. That does not mean you're the lowest price on eBay. I sell cards all the time. I'm 10-20% higher than the lowest price. On a similar card, exact same condition, same everything, but I get the sale instead of the guy that was priced lower. Without getting too, nitty-gritty controversial with that, I think the reason why is because eBay is an algorithm. It is an algorithm-based platform to sell on. It is not Amazon, where one buyer has a buy box and they get all the sales because they're the lowest price or the best feedback, etc., etc. eBay is an algorithm. So if you do things to satisfy the algorithm, then you'll get in front of more eyes. And if you're in front of more eyes, you make more sales. As long as you're pricing competitively. I think competitively is, not, marking it up way, way, way too much. But, I've sold cards for 30 to 50% more than the lowest priced guy or gal. Whoever's selling those cards. And I'm just saying, you don't have to be the lowest price. In fact, you shouldn't want to be the lowest price. It makes it harder to scale it, especially if you're starting off. It increases your sales volume, but you're not making a lot of money. So it's kind of hard to get in there and do all these orders and do all this work if you're not really making that much money. It's going to be disheartening to see that you're not making a lot of margin because you're selling it so low and you're buying it for such and such, and it's hard to source. Let anybody tell you if they've been selling online, especially trading cards, sourcing is your bottleneck. Once you hit a certain level, you have to be able to buy more because selling it is the easy part. Buying it is the hard part at a profitable price. It is tough to do. So sell it at a good price. Sell at a price that makes you money. Sell at a price that makes you happy to let it go. Otherwise, I would rather just hold on to this stuff. I'm not going to lose money on my stuff. I like these Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'm not going to sell them for nothing. I'm going to sell and make money so I can buy more cards and more expensive cards that I want to keep for myself, frankly. So price competitively, not the lowest price. But none of the rest of this stuff matters without the price thing. So, and I'm going to get into why. Because you can ask for more money if you follow the rest of these tips. You'll command a higher premium for your cards if you follow the rest of these tips. So, that really important one out of the way. Let's get to the next one. Guys, you got to start learning conditioning your cards. You have to condition these cards properly. I can't tell you, I won't even buy near mint cards on TCG Player these days because it almost never gets here truly near mint. And I ain't talking about like some scratches on, the back of the card. It's a little bit off center, and that's not even mint. That's just off center. But some people go a little overboard with it. But I'm talking about these cards will literally be like creased up, you know, completely just moderate play at best. And I'm getting it in near mint condition. And then I gotta go through the return process and all this, and it's just a hassle. Your buyers won't buy from you again. They'll hate you. They'll leave you negative feedback. The algorithm's going to punish you for that. We talked about algorithm earlier. It don't matter if you're the lowest price. If your listing sucks, if your service sucks, eBay's not going to throw you a bone. So price competitively, learn to condition your cards, please. Everybody in this hobby is tired of amateurs coming in here selling stuff for the condition that it is not in, especially on TCG Player. eBay is not as easy because you got to take pictures of this stuff. You can still get around it, but learn to condition your cards properly, guys. You know, if you need guidance, look at the eBay card condition guidelines. It's pretty straightforward, I think. Everybody's got subjective little things they look out for. Maybe I'll do a video on mine, particularly that I look out for. But the more you condition cards, the better you get at it. So yeah, condition your cards properly. Stop sending stuff that's near mint and it's really like mod play at best. This upsets everybody in the hobby. Everybody's tired of doing it. The next thing right here kind of goes in with that. You're going to take good photos of your cards. You're going to take good lighting, good photos. If you have multiple copies, make sure you're conditioning properly because you're not going to be able to photograph every copy, obviously. So just make sure you're conditioning properly. Like I said, condition is subjective to some degree. So take some risks on some of your conditions. If it's like light play, moderate play, border, then list it light play and take good pictures of it. See if somebody buys it. Believe me, if your condition is way off, then they're gonna no one's gonna buy it from you if you're way off based on the condition. Then you'll know to maybe knock it down a few bucks to mod play. But you can take some risks on these conditions and take good photos, and the condition will line up, and somebody will feel like it's a good deal. So take some risk, take really, really good photos. Always make sure that you're conditioning properly, and don't send out things that are in the wrong condition to the buyer. They'll hate you. They'll leave you a bad review. They'll try to come after you for a refund. They're gonna do all kind of stuff. So just don't do it. Just take good pictures and make sure you're conditioning properly, and don't take too many risks until you're good at condition checking. I'm pretty good at it these days, so I can take risks on conditioning. As long as I take good photos, good to go. Next one, really quick tip: package the stuff properly. Guys, don't be throwing cards in an envelope with no top loader or a card saver at the least. I do top loaders personally for cards 2 and under. If it's 3 or more cards, I put them in a card saver 1. Use team bags, painter's tape, whatever you have, but stop using Scotch tape. Number 1, please, for the love of God, stop using Scotch tape on this stuff. Top loaders, painter's tape, or team bag is even better. In an envelope, if it's $20 or under, in an envelope with the label on it, send it to your buyer. I have yet to have any problems. I have sold 1,000 cards probably at this point on eBay, and I have yet to have a problem putting the top loader in an envelope and sending that bad boy off. If it's a $20 or up card and you got to send it with USPS Ground Advantage, then put some bubble wrap around it. Take the bubble wrap up nice and good. Slide that into a bubble mailer. I like to make sure it's got some dimension to it. That's why I put bubble wrap on it. So that way, it doesn't just get blown away in the wind or, crushed under a bunch of packages. I want these cards to be protected. Personally, if it was anything like, probably like $100 or $150 or over, I'd probably put it in a box. That's just, good protection on the cards. Make sure it gets to the buyer all right. So, it's just good business. Package this stuff properly. Stop using Scotch tape and stop sending stuff with no top loaders, and stop stuffing 10 cards into a top loader. Get some card savers. Yeah, there's a million videos on YouTube to package cards. Look at some of those. Maybe I'll do a video on that too. Next right here, really quick tip right here. You need to be shipping next day at the latest. If you're serious about eBay, and if you're not serious about building eBay, you're probably not watching this video. I'm talking to the serious people, the ones that want to build businesses around this stuff. You need to be shipping this stuff out next day at the latest. Sometimes if they order in the morning and it's before I do my orders, I'll ship it same day. I just put my stuff in the mailbox and go about it. If you don't have a mailbox pickup, for some reason, maybe you just gotta go to the post office. You just gotta drive to the post office. You need to do it every single day. If you're serious about building this up, you gotta ship out every day, and that includes Saturdays. I ship out every Saturday. If I got orders, they're in the mailbox on Saturday morning. I ship out 6 days a week. And, if I got a lot of orders over the weekend, I'm preparing orders on Sunday to go out on Monday so I don't get behind and have to feel like I have to ship 20 things at once. I'm always prepping orders at the same time every single day. Usually, I get home from work, or I wake up on my off days because I work overnight. I'll usually ship my stuff out at about 8:30. I usually get orders right about 8:30 in the mailbox by 9 o'clock. Mail comes around about 11 o'clock, and my orders are good to go. So, just make sure that you get a routine and ship this stuff out every single day. Next day at the latest on shipping. No one's going to want to buy from me if it ships too slow. And buyers, believe me, they get impatient. They want this stuff yesterday. It is what it is. This is a society we've created. Amazon's done it. It is what it is. You got to be competitive. Ship out next day at the latest. Trust me. Next right up here, probably a controversial take right here, but you need to be offering free shipping, in my opinion. Here's the thing, guys. If you're in the United States, the most it's going to cost you to ship a card, it's probably like $5 and like 50 some odd cents. It's under $6 if it's like a $20 or up card. It's gonna be at the most $6 to ship that thing, at least in my experience. I ship the things to California all the time. I'm in Alabama. It cost me $5 and some odd cents to send it to California. That's on the other side of the country. Cameo from my cat right there. Hey, Leo. Other side of the country, $5.50. Look, guys, offer free shipping. Bake that into your price. I know that, it might not be the hottest thing in the world, but like baking things into the prices, companies do this all the time. When you go to a grocery store, you don't get to the register and they charge you a 3% credit card fee. At least no grocery store I went to does that. They bake that into their price. They know that most people are going to pay with credit cards, and they don't give you a cash discount. Everybody pays for that in the price of those goods. That is a normal business thing to bake the price in. Customers hate being charged multiple times. You already got to pay taxes when you get to the checkout on eBay. No customer wants to pay taxes and shipping. And some people even, I don't even know if you can still charge a handling fee. I can't imagine that. Like, you got to bake this stuff into your price. If the item is $17 plus, $2 shipping, sell it for $19. Or hell, mark it up to $20. Like some customers, including myself, will literally pay more if we don't have to pay for shipping, or at least if it doesn't look like we have to pay for shipping. The customer is paying for shipping. I'm not paying for the shipping for them. I'm just baking into the price. But it's a difference. Just bake that stuff in. If the stuff's heavier, like electronics and stuff, I get charging shipping. I do too. Because I'm not going to, bear the cost of $40 in shipping to ship some heavy item across the country. But these cards, it's $1 and it's 74 cents in standard envelope right now to ship a $20 or under card. And if it's more than that, it's $5.50, $6 max to send anywhere in the United States. So bake the shipping into your price. You'll probably increase your sales. At least I did. So next right here, I got 2 tips for you guys left. This one is going to be super controversial. Let's save that one for last, actually. We're going to go to this right here. In my opinion, you want to send offers out periodically. I don't send offers out every day. I send offers out for myself once a week. I do an offers Friday once a week. Every Friday morning, I send out offers to all my watchers. And I make some sales that way. Am I losing margin on it for offering a 10% discount on the watched item? Yes, I'm losing some margin. But in my opinion, sometimes it's worth it to get them all really rolling. Get some more sales. The algorithm's going to love you for it. You're going to get more sales. More buyers are going to message you. Yada, yada, yada. It all snowballs together in this algorithm-based platform we call eBay. So send offers out periodically. Doesn't have to be every week. I wouldn't recommend every day. It's just a little too frequent. You want to give your items a chance to sell at full price. Because believe me, if you're selling cards and they're in demand, they will sell at full price eventually when the right buyer comes along. But sometimes I send offers out and I take a 10% discount for them. And it's all right with me because I'm getting quick money. The sales are happening, and the rest of my stuff for the rest of the week is going to get a boost in the algorithm because I am selling things that people want, and eBay sees that. So send offers out periodically, every week, every other week, maybe every month, something along those lines. I do every week, but that's just me. If your margin is there, if you have margin available to send offers out, I would recommend you do it just so you can get good in the algorithm and sell some more. Last tip for you guys, super controversial tip right here. eBay has changed their promoted listing stuff. We all know about it if you sell on eBay. I'm not going to go into it. If you want to get the details and you don't know yet, watch a YouTube video. I think Rally Roots, a really good eBay seller on the YouTube community, did do a video covering this. It's active right now. Promoted listings is, kind of some frankly, some nonsense from eBay right now. But I'm promoting all of my listings. I have been for the past couple of years. I will promote my listings. I don't do it at too much. 2% promotion on eBay for me and my items. 2% is all I'm doing. And I sell a lot from promoted listings. Even before the promoted listings change that I'm talking about, I sold like 40% of my items through promoted listings. So I wasn't going to give that up. And yet again, I just baked that into the price, into my margin. Now I'm losing 2%. eBay takes like 13%-ish. I get a discount on those fees because I'm a top rated seller. They take an extra 2% for the ad fee. And I pay shipping, and it all works out. The margin's there for me because I source properly, I pay properly, I am competitive in price, but I'm not the lowest. Remember that. It all comes back to that. Be competitive, not the lowest price. So that way, if you do all the rest of this stuff, then the competitive price thing, it's going to take care of you. But if you don't do the competitive price, none of the rest of this stuff matters. Because if your price isn't competitive, it doesn't matter how good your photos are. If price ain't competitive, it doesn't matter how you package and how your feedback is. It doesn't matter, if you promote your listings, if you're way, way above market, it's not going to matter. Buyers aren't going to pay way, way too much, but you shouldn't be the lowest because you're offering value with these things that I'm telling you to do on eBay. You have value here, good customer service, good photos, accurate descriptions, accurate conditions, free shipping, sending it out the next day. All that stuff is a value proposition, and you need to cash out on that and stop being the lowest listed price on eBay. That's all the tips I got for you guys. If you did like this video, or if it did help you out, let me know in the comments below. If I can answer any questions for you, I'll try to do so. I'll try and do a video about my other platforms as well, like the vendor's mall booth maybe, or a card show. I'm still learning those avenues, so I'm not quite as much of I don't want to say an expert, but I'm not quite as fluent in those areas. But maybe I will do a video on one of those and see how it does. But again, my name is Matthew, Shiny Man of Collectibles. Check the description below if you want to check out my eBay store, my Instagram. Subscribe, like the video, please. Let me know in the comments if I can help you out at all, and I'll try to do so. But that's about all I got for this one, guys. I'll be back with a new one soon. Not quite sure what I'm going to be doing yet. Maybe a collection update, maybe another video on selling tips. We'll see. But that's about all I got. Appreciate it, guys.